A Ugandan court has revoked a ban on Khat, a stimulant plant. Khat is not under the major international drug convention, so it's left to the discretion of each country, and that's complicated the debate. The leaf is popular in Eastern Africa and in the Arabian Peninsula and among their diaspora communities, feeding a multi-million-dollar trade. Kenya is one of the main producers, and our correspondent Felix Maringa has this report on the love of miraa, as Khat is known there, and the business behind it.
A typical sight at this hour of the day. It's about 3 p.m. in Nairobi, and the miraa truck has just delivered the fresh product. A scramble ensues as everyone tries to get what they ordered. Each bag is labeled with the customer's name. Rosemary has already gotten her bag and is ready to redistribute to her consumers. The mother of one says the business has been too beneficial to give up.
I use the income to educate my child, to feed the family and to pay rent. In Meru, my parents financed our education through miraa sales. Our only hope is the miraa crop. Without it, we cannot survive. I've been in this business for some time, and I've seen the benefits and cannot let go of it.
Her customers come in large numbers as soon as the crop gets to her market stand. Most of them love the twigs when they're fresh and are already waiting for the crop before it gets to the stand. The plant, which has attracted criticism in the global market, is widely accepted in this area and consumers love it.
Miraa has never harmed me. I started chewing it when I was in class 3. As you can see, my teeth are still perfect. I never had any of them pulled out.
I feel so good anytime I chew miraa. The crop helps me sleep better, and it gives me the satisfaction I like. I work in the miraa sector. I don't make a big profit, but it provides me with my basic needs. It's not a bad business.
Miraa is a fast-moving product which is dispersed as soon as it gets to the market from the farm. It involves a lot of people who do deliveries so that the consumers can get to enjoy it fresh and for a longer period. Patrick Kinoti is the chairperson for miraa traders here in Nairobi. Contrary to the view that miraa is detrimental, he says miraa is beneficial to many young Kenyans.
The miraa business employs a lot of young Kenyans. First, there's the miraa traders, then there's the motorcycle riders and the truck drivers. We don't own the vehicles nor the motorbikes. We work with people from different ethnic groups in Kenya in this business.
More than 20 million people across the globe consume miraa daily. Even though the confusion lingers on as to whether it should be classified as a drug or a cash crop, cat lovers in Kenya continue enjoying their favorite evergreen shrub.
For more on this, I spoke to Sarah Ahmed Koshin, a research fellow at the Danish Institute for International Studies. She's investigated Khat in Somali communities across Eastern Africa, including the dominant role of women in its trade. I began by asking her why women played this role and how this had impacted their communities.
Most of the women who are working in this trade are women who are oftentimes, widows, or divorcees, or they're so divorced and are not living with a male figure in the household, and they have to somehow fetch for the family. And this business, it's quick to enter. You only need somebody to sort of represent you, and sort of as a guardian, and you have quick access, and it delivers cash. You don't fail on that because there's always a market for it. So these women actually, the Khat trade has empowered these women because it has given them opportunity to work, opportunity to connect with other women, but also to have some kind of an income where they can at least bring food on the table for their children and right. Support with schools and so forth. But another important component to this study was that the how women are supporting each other. These women have small children oftentimes, and there's an absence of a father figure, and they have to really make do with what they have, at their disposal. And oftentimes they don't have a lot of support from society. So they form networks where you will find if a woman has to go somewhere, it will be very easy for her to speak in this WhatsApp group and say, hey, I have an appointment this afternoon. I would like somebody to babysit for me, or to buy ABCD for me from so and so, or to pick up this or deliver this. And so they work as a support group, as a group that provides all the other important services that they would not that they cannot find elsewhere. And that's why it's mainly dominated by women, because they have skills that oftentimes men don't have, in terms of being connected, in terms of knowing where the big event is happening, in terms of working so closely with each other, and providing this safety support system that has been existing for a very long time. And these women are there are challenges, but economically they are better off than they were 5, 6, 7 years ago, because they grow from very low on the hierarchy to at least some middle class income situation.
Right. If it is so widely accepted, I suppose, and popular in these circles, why is it so controversial at the same time? Because it seems people can't seem to determine whether it's a mild stimulant or an actual drug that needs regulation.
It is a kind of a drug, and it has an impact on the human brain, according to research, when consumed in large amounts. But other than the medical part of it, it also has a destructive impact on the family, on the household. These women who are selling this khat, and oftentimes they are living on their own, because there's a sort of that the family unit is not intact anymore, because of the fact that men who consume this ultimately they cannot function well in the household, in the family unit. And there have been many studies that has been done by also the federal government, the Puntland government, where I have lived for many years, but also by non-Somalis, as to what exactly is the impact of the khat on the household, on the community. How destructive is it? And there have been conclusions that it is a very destructive factor to consider in policy making, and the government has tried on a number of occasions to ban it, but it's still it's impossible to do so, because khat is consumed by many people in Somalia for different reasons, and it has been very, very difficult to stop that, because it plays an important role, both by the people who are selling it, who cannot stop suddenly because they have to make a livelihood, but also by the consumers, because in places like Hargeisa, in places like Mogadishu or Galkayo and Bosaso as well. I mean, there have been riots, there have been protests, there have been a number of demonstrations held by people who are in favor of khat being made available. The government has tried, even in Garowe, there were like large posters of a man with a very bad teeth, and an image of the family unit being broken into pieces, or something like that. They have tried, because with a visual language, even to make it possible for people who can't read or write to get the point, but they have failed, and I don't think there will be any change in the future to criminalize or to stop the khat trade completely, because of the simple fact that it plays at a very community social level, it plays an important role.
That was Sarah Ahmed Koshin of the Danish Institute for International Studies. As she mentioned, Somalia has tried and failed to ban khat despite its destructive impact on families. But many other countries have outlawed imports of the plant, and this has forced some farmers in Kenya to turn to other crops.
Farmer Beatrice Kawira used to grow khat, but as increasing numbers of countries banned the substance, she realised she needed to find another source of income. Her solution was sunflowers. When I saw that the UK and Somalia had banned khat, Yet I had not planted any other crop. I chose to begin planting sunflowers. I found an advantage in sunflowers, as it allows me to feed my animals. When I make some money from it, I pay for school fees and use the remainder to buy food. I've done this because there's no alternative, and my piece of land is small. Another farmer, Isaiah Kiogora, continues to grow and harvest khat. But he too says he has had to switch to other crops to survive. Not only have traditional export markets for khat shut down, he also has climate change to contend with.
In the olden days, we had reliable rainfall, and it was sufficient. Khat would sustain us well, and Somalia was buying our harvests. Now we have a drought, and the crops have been affected, forcing us to plant vegetables, potatoes, beans, and maize, so that we can at least find something to eat, because there's a drought.
So in future, it could be down to the creativity of people like Beatrice Kawira to find new ways of making money and being able to exist as a farmer.